Name of the school, but it's also that I just drove past the Blackbird Museum and I went, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. It's a little native,
Name it after a council member's wife or a council member or a planning commission chair.
Uh-huh.
Parking chair.
Yep.
or we could call it Blackbird.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be confusing. There's a Blackbird Museum, Blackbird School, Blackbird Forest, there's shade drain.
So
shade
is there like a chief blackbird or something, or, you know?
Who Blackbird was?
Yeah.
He was the postmaster. He was a Native American, then he was also became the first postmaster of Harbor Springs. And
Mhm.
so I don't know if he was a chief. I'm not sure about that, but I know he was the first.
Okay.
Well, it turns out the Odawas are,
You're gonna call Kathy?
She's right there.
Okay.
is historically here. And,
The earliest
several of the
You get.
things I found on Pocket Forest are being spearheaded by women in communities. Maybe we could find, I don't.
Talk louder
I'm
to talk
talking
over.
about neighbors, mutual neighbors of all of us.
So that wasn't streaming, correct?
Now it's on.
No, Victor knows better than to do that before Kathy
Now it's on.
knows to keep her mouth shut.
Now we're.
Good. How are you?
I'm just ducky, thank you. I'm on my second caffeine jolt, so I'll be ready.
Actually, I haven't talked to anyone that's been
Huh?
ducky in a while.
Yeah.
What?
That's very good to hear. I haven't talked to anyone that
Been
was
ducky?
ducky.
Peachy.
Peachy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's my,
Andy.
I think that's just what comes to mind. Want to put on that happy face.
I always say I'm peachy, peachy keen when I'm pretending,
Yes,
you know.
exactly.
Now we know.
Uh-oh, I've given it away.
Did I put my, oh, good, I even have my tree board right here.
Yippee-yi-yo.
And I read through it and I'm excited
Good,
about the
good.
pocket tree thing.
Fine, I'm so sorry.
I invited Nancy, I said, Nancy, you wanna come? And she said, no, she didn't. So we're talking about pocket trees. She said, pocket doors? I said, no.
Not pocket trees, pocket forests.
Yeah, pocket forest, that was it. I did say forest. Good, that's what you.
Good.
Are
Should we go? You guys ready?
Yeah, we're all here.
Okay,
I guess we're all here.
it's good. Let's call the meeting to order. Victor, would you like to? Victor, would you like to call roll?
Yes. Elia Swatura?
Here.
Is that Swatura or Swatura? Kathleen Leo?
Here.
Dana Mulder,
Here.
Kathy Macho,
Here.
and we do have Teresa Johnson via Zoom. So we do have a quorum for voting purposes here. And as you all may not know, Gail Brown resigned, so she can dedicate more time to the DDA board, but we do have an applicant that's interested. So we should hopefully get her appointed on March 18th, council meeting.
I'm very excited about it. Okay, let's see, how about minutes? Did everybody get a chance to look? I have one correction.
Yes.
What I miss?
And that is on page 2 of the minutes. And it has, Brown for vice chair, but didn't we say Kathy Leo?
No. Kathy Leo adamantly refused to be vice chair. So Dana was appointed chair, Gail Brown was appointed vice chair. But now
Are you
Gail,
sure?
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you listen to it again? Okay,
yep, absolutely sure.
Okay.
Um,
all right, so we don't have a vice chair.
no, so
Okay,
we can either, I know we talked about whether or not you want Teresa to go back to chair, or you want to stay chair, and then,
we probably better wait till Teresa's done with her stint, huh?
okay, yeah, all right.
And we get the new, and do you think we'll have a new person?
Do you have any updates on your thoughts, Teresa? We're getting a little off topic here.
That's all right.
That's okay. Yeah, not knowing what's happening. I won't really know anything until fall, but I
Okay.
know that come May, I will be available to attend the meetings in person for the summer until through August, I think.
Okay. So do you want to appoint Teresa?
Yes, we,
Someone make a motion?
can a vice chair not get meetings for?
Yeah, no, as long as the
Yeah.
people here are okay with that.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that Teresa be vice chair.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Dana motion, Macho, second, for Teresa. Vice chair. Now it's up to approve the minutes.
Pardon?
We have to do the minutes.
Yeah, okay, let's see, did anybody have any other changes? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes? I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
oh. I'll second that.
Very good. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. My motion passes. All right, Victor, yeah, any board communications this month?
Yeah, just a couple minor things. We still have an active bluff vegetation management request for West Bluff on the city property. We had one, John Enzi had, we approved that one last fall. And now John Trumbull and a few of his neighbors have requests also for trimming on the bluff, following our vegetation management policy. So Ben is talking with them and discussing with them what they want to see there. So that may be approved sometime this spring.
May I ask a question?
Yep.
John Trumbull, where
Or
is
Jack
that?
Trumbull. I don't know.
Where is that?
West Bluff, kind of, it's west of Harrison.
Is that this corner of Sargent and,
Yeah, probably.
Angela?
Yeah, between Ann and Sargent, this section
okay,
of town.
I was just
There's,
curious.
but it's not just him, it's a bunch of neighbors as well. They all came together in a co-applicants.
Okay,
And is tree board involved with their requests then? at
No,
all?
no, we usually, that's why we have the policy. We have that policy in place for the city staff to deal with that in the arborist. So it's
Okay.
pretty standard, typical. I just just let you know that that's happening. We did get a request from someone to plant a couple trees on Hoyt Road between Main and Lake, where there's no trees on the southwestern part. They want to plant a couple trees where we have no trees. So I gave her options from our right tree, right place list, because there's power lines above, so there could be something, had to be smaller trees like magnolias or dogwood or crabapple, but so talking with that property owner, so we had some trees on that on our, as part of our list, our corridor list or street tree plan list, so sometimes it
And,
happens, people.
How do we prioritize that with some of the other things we want?
Well, so there's a difference between a donated tree and street tree planting. So donated tree,
So
they
they're gonna
donate,
pay for it.
yeah, this
Okay.
one, they're gonna pay for it. They can pay for it and maintain it in front of their home. Donated tree is where they donate and we put in our tree bank.
Okay.
We each plant where we want. So, other communication?
I know there's been a couple communications about trees coming up Harborview Park. So that's the park at the corner of Hoyt and 119.
Yeah, that's on our agenda.
Okay.
No, it's on our agenda for later.
Harbor View, the one that's right over the
Next to the pickleball courts, it's on the corner on Hoyt. There's a pickleball, there's skate park. pickleball.
northeast.
It's
corner?
the north, well, it's a T, but yes, it's the northeast. So when you're going up the hill, right on your left, right past White Road.
Okay,
Yes, and so we'll talk about that later.
Does the park on the right have a name? Sure it does. The one up right above the stadium?
Oh, yeah, is that Tuttle? Is that, no,
Tour-
no,
Is
no.
that tour?
Tourist park.
Oh, tourist park, okay, and across the street is Harbor View.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Um. All right, shall we move on to old business? Victor, or priorities plan?
yes, just really quick, last meeting, we had recommended that I go through the priorities that you all chose for this year. And I just kind of crafted up a rough schedule. Some of it is city staff tasks, other are tree board tasks, but 6.4.6, the one with providing street trees that are right away along existing road frontage, that's something we recommend in the zoning code, so that we can cross off our list already, so that's good. We have an edit to the vegetation management policy, which I think I should be able to bring to you in May for review. We talked about consider implementing a plan for adding or improving the tree bases. I think that's a lengthy discussion. I think we can focus on that in September. I think it's a good fall discussion because we got some other things going on.
Which one are we talking about?
Numbers, C 4.7.2.
Okay.
D, considering the watering methods, so D, E, and F, all these three are about maintenance and the health of the trees, so I'm working with Ben and Lucas to address all three of those things.
Good.
G 5.7.8. This I'll bring to the board in June. It's about when someone removes a tree on public property, requiring them, not just having it as a suggestion, but actually requiring them to plant a tree or contribute a tree for somewhere else in the city. So that way when we take one down, at least we can put one up. And as Ben has said multiple times, it's obviously it's not a 1-for-1 ratio. You know, you take down a nice large tree, you know, planting one tree is not the same, but at least it gives us something. And it's also reasonable for the
I
person.
think if you look at other cities with tree ordinances, though, it is inch per inch.
It's branch, yeah.
So maybe that's something we can talk about at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that can come to you guys in June.
So if you take out a 24-inch tree,
Then you have to plant.
You can plant
24
24
1-inch.
one-inch ones, or you can
Yeah.
plant 2 12.
Got it.
yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to be sure I understood.
they can go into the tree bank too.
Or there could be a cash value
Got it.
as well. There should be multiple ways to look at it.
Okay.
And that's only though for removing healthy trees. If there's a dead or hazardous tree or dangerous tree, you know, there's those we don't require people to pay to remove or to replant another tree. And then annual monies for tree planting and care, I think it'd be a good idea to go to council in April or May. And I think this last meeting, we kind of talked about directing our focus on money for 12 trees or so for our street tree plan. So I think that's what we'll approach council for. So that is just an overview of all our goals that we wanted to focus on this year. And of course, one's not on here that we are going to discuss eventually. That's Arbor Day Fest. It's a goal that we do to try to do that every single year, but that probably will be in our agenda for our next meeting. So we can start planning for that whenever we have our next meeting.
I don't think I will be here for our next meeting, just so you know.
Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of people.
That kind of makes it
No, I mean,
unanimous.
if you
doesn't it?
April
Talk
13th.
about it right now.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt.
I'm sorry if it's the wrong time.
So, two options, we could cancel it and just take a month off. If we didn't have a lot going on, the other option would be to reschedule. So typically we do Arbor Day the end of May. I did look at my notes from last year and we said maybe we'll change that date, you know, because we didn't get a great turnout. It was Memorial Weekend. So if we are gonna do something in May, probably we would reschedule it so we have time to plan.
I don't think we have enough time to plan, even if we have a meeting in April. I think there's a lot going on. I think we probably should, maybe if we're not gonna have people here, just cancel the April meeting. It'd be easier probably on all of us, and then have a May meeting. We can plan something for late summer, early fall, or
Okay,
Is June, I didn't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry. Is June not appropriate, even though isn't that the real Arbor Day?
that could be, but let's,
It just doesn't work.
I can talk to you a little bit about ideas I had for this year too. But let's, for our May agenda, let's add Arbor Day to
okay,
that.
so we'll cancel the April meeting.
Yeah,
We don't need to reschedule. I think it just cancel April meeting.
And you'll let Carol know.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to sit down with her and kind of bring her up to speed on what we're working on and if we're doing anything like.
Yeah, that's awesome, yeah.
And you can, yeah, you can sit in too if you need, to be brought up a little bit more.
We can have more. Okay, but no quorum.
There could
Oh,
be,
that's true.
there could be coffee involved. Well, that would be three of us, wouldn't it?
Where?
Like if I covered these guys on, some of our projects and things we've worked on.
No, we'll do it at the same time.
Hmm?
Don't do it. at the same
Yeah.
time.
Okay, okay. Okay. Great, let's move on then to the pocket forest at the school discussion. And I put a few preliminary thoughts together. And I should have written draft on the front of it because that's what it is. Everything is open for discussion at this point. All right, do you want to scroll, Victor?
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I gotta reshare the screen so Teresa can see as well.
We don't have anybody else on today, right?
No, no.
I do have a little inspirational quote in here. I don't know what the future looks like, but if it looks like this, more forests, greener cities, more teaching, learning, and appreciating life in its complexity and interconnectedness. Sorry. Then I can continue to have hope for myself and the world that I love.
Wait, who said that?
Maya
Duda?
Duda, yeah, she's an environmentalist from Boston.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
if anybody else has inspirational things they want to add to me, feel free.
And those kinds of things would be good for our tree canopy articles.
Yeah. Did you guys get a chance to look at this? This was in the packet, right?
I did.
So what is a pocket forest? Densely planted native trees, shrubs, and ground cover. So those are the three levels in a forest, and together they create an ecosystem. They're also sometimes called tiny forests, mini forests, and they provide all the same benefits of larger forests with capturing carbon, biodiversity, wildlife habitat, et cetera, et cetera. Native trees and shrubs, typically you put in of different sizes, and they create shade, which helps keep the moisture in and keep the weeds down. And we would plant a diversity of species as we're doing elsewhere in the city, which provides more resistance to pests and disease. I like the idea that it engages the next generation, especially our project where we're involving the school in becoming stewards of nature in a really fun and engaging way while also learning about plants. This was developed in the early 1970s by a Japanese ecologist, Akira Miyawaki.
Yeah.
Sorry. So here's just some general steps involved in creating a pocket forest. Determine species that are native to a given area, and I can help out quite a bit with that, but anybody else that wants to research it, it's fun to look into. Eliminating grass and improving the soil if needed. So organic manner, our soils around here are pretty sandy. Plant seedlings of native trees and understory plants in a dense mixed nature. And they're saying 3 seedlings per square meter, which is really tight. And I don't totally believe in that because what happens when those trees get big one day?
Well,
So we might do a modified version.
I think I was doing a little reading, not to cut you off here. I think it was a little reading, and it's also part of like, it's trying to stimulate conditions of a regular forest. And then seedlings usually drop close to each other and then some grow taller and then you can observe which ones like are stronger and survive.
Struggle and-
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's the idea,
Let
but
them do their natural.
if you're
thing.
right, if you're looking to see things like, yeah, obviously you plant 3 seedlings right next to each other, 1 or 2, it's just like the run of the litter, right? There's gonna be one that's
Yeah.
gonna. Anyway, sorry, I just want that. I was reading about that, so
Well,
yeah.
I was like, that's close.
And maybe this isn't the time to ask this, but
Mhm.
as I was reading in the earlier parts, we're talking about not necessarily, I thought part of it was not necessarily doing big trees. It was doing
Start small, yeah.
start
We
smaller,
wouldn't
so.
start with big, like 2-inch nursery stack trees.
Oh,
like-
okay, but I meant trees that were meant to grow big. Am I missing?
No, we're gonna do those too.
Oh, okay, I
So there's
misunderstood
3
that then.
levels in a forest: canopy trees, which would be like our sugar maples, our oaks, ironwood. Intermediate, which would be like chokecherry and, what
Okay,
else, dogwoods, things like that, and then, ground cover, which would be like your ephemerals that come
Got
in the
it.
spring kind of
okay,
thing. And then the 4th thing is taking care of everything, for up to 3 years to get it started. Keeping the weeds out, and then it should be on its own after that. So, how do we get started with this? First thing, what do we want to call it?
Well, and I guess that's partly, I guess when we talk with the school, maybe, maybe they want to have, it's gonna be on the school property, maybe they can think of
Good idea.
a fun name.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest that once we decide where it's going, maybe we have the students at that school, or maybe even the students from all the schools make suggestions and it can be voted on.
That's a good idea.
Good way to get them engaged.
Right.
So what is the goal of the project here?
Well,
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think the main goal is obviously it's educational for both the students and for the community, right?
Yeah.
That's, I would think the top priority is an educational opportunity to teach the community about trees, how they grow. And I think the second thing is also obviously a secondary goal would be part of our mission to increase the urban tree canopy.
Yeah.
And so that's really this is a way to actually do that without having to worry about necessarily how things look per se, or if they're gonna interfere in infrastructure. It's more of a natural way to increase that urban tree canopy. That's what I would say
So
too.
to document this, then we'll say education. We'll say, increase tree canopy. Was there one more, Victor?
No, that's just the two I had, I could think of.
I think that's good.
How about community involvement?
Yeah.
Yeah. And stewardship. I think this really teaches stewardship.
yeah, I like the idea of if this is happening, that if I wanted to do a pine forest in my backyard,
You can learn.
I might have
could learn
suggested
from
we do it
this.
at my house first. Yeah.
yeah,
I was actually thinking about that too when I was going through this. I was like, I got a big enough backyard, I could try.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My fruit trees aren't doing well, so I could try something else.
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Lots of room.
I mean, I don't know how much room you need, but
It
it certainly could be downsized to
You
my
don't need
yard.
much room at all. Yeah.
yeah, it's really
I read something
A
that,
garden
that
plot.
as little as 200 square feet, which is.
10 by 20.
Oh, well,
Like a
then-
garden plot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah, because I was having trouble picturing it too, so.
Mhm. Then, do we want to follow Miyazaki's model, or is it Miyawaki? Do I have it spelled wrong?
It was one of them.
Oh, yeah, it's.
Yeah.
You spelled it.
Okay. Or do we want to modify that and maybe not put them quite so close?
Well, we
That's
could,
what every instinct in my
I
body
could
tells
use
me.
him as a guide, but,
Yeah.
yeah, modify
Yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah.
You're welcome, you
Yeah.
could still do whatever you want to.
Well, I
think-
guess it also depends on how much room we have when we talk with school and how much actual land we have to work with, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, if we only have 200 square feet, then they're all getting crammed.
So let's say that's a TBD. The other thing about maybe not placing everything so close is you're not gonna be able to walk through that very easily. You know, this could become kind of like a really nice place to, meditate or, just to walk through. So, that's a TBD.
Is it possible that, I mean, I don't know what the schools might be, what they might be thinking, but is there enough property that you could do two different, a bigger one, walk through, and then something that I could copy for my backyard? I don't know. I'm just sort of throwing that out. Or is that just,
I would say.
am I
we start with
jumping way
one,
too far
maybe.
ahead?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to
Okay.
keep focused, yeah. And you could just say, okay, this corner of it, I could do at my house.
Gotcha.
Well,
And we'll document all this, the steps, and let's yeah.
and depending on how big the space we have, right, it could be planned out where you You can plant them close together, but you have pathways already planned out, so that way, you know, you have a little walking trail or, you know, a little meditation spot, but you still have the concepts of, you know, type, like what a normal forest would do up here, right? So it could be like a planned little pocket forest with a trail or two, walking path through it, so.
Yeah.
Depends how far.
Target age group, I guess they're gonna have to tell us, right? So high school, they were talking about an environmental education class. I don't know. Seems like middle school would be a good age to get involved too, so, but we'll wait and see what they recommend.
What do you think, the age?
I'm not quite sure either, because with the environmental science class, you could like use that for part of the curriculum or something.
Oh, yeah.
Is that high school?
class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think, and that's a few different things to note. So you can probably use, right, intertwine different educational activities for different ages, right? And obviously, you're not gonna have elementary kids going out there planting bigger trees, but they can put seedlings down in the ground. So you can have
They
little
could
kids,
start the
they could
ceilings in the
start seed-
classrooms.
you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that you can involve, and you can have different educational activities for each class. So I think we should keep it open to what makes most sense for the school, what they have aptitude for.
Yeah, and I guess we're gonna need to have like a single point coordinator maybe,
Yeah. Well,
at some of them. And then location may depend on what age group.
Yeah.
You know, like with the bigger campus, of course, where there's more space would be like the middle school. Elementary schools, but if the high school kids are gonna be involved, it'd be a whole lot easier for them to have something on your campus.
It's easy for them to walk.
True.
They can walk without supervision.
Can they?
No,
I'm sorry.
We wrap them in bubble wrap first.
usually. But I think those two are both the target age group and the location. I did email Brad, superintendent, to just ask about, okay, to have him think about location, that we'd get back to him though on some of this. So,
There's different types of forests that we could model. I guess we'll see where it ends up being and what the soils are like and the moisture's like. My first reaction would be to do like mixed hardwood, like what we have up at Kiwanis kind of thing.
and Ben told me, which was good to know, because I don't know if this is a matter for the school or not, but he said that they do have a school forest management plan. It was done by Cindy Ackerland. I don't know what that is, but if they have a forest, you know, if they have a forest management, it might be good to see if we can,
The school does?
that's what Ben said. They had a school forest, so I don't know if it's something that we could dig up or the school could dig up and we could see and just see what they had planned and if it's still relevant.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Talia, if you wanna, you know, maybe ask Brad or one of your teachers about a school forest management plan that might have been done. I know, it might help us out, it might not, just logistics.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, if it is still being used, it'd be nice to tie into it.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about school property,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at some point, we'll figure out what a schedule is gonna look like, water source,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Different layers, how do we foster wildlife? That kind of happens naturally, but put bird feeders in there. Are we gonna clear grass? You know, maybe the school grounds people could help us with that, or DPW. What soil amendments do we need, species? Where will we source the plants? There's a lot of good online native plant nurseries we could use. And then do we need tools, what other materials?
Yeah, so these questions I'll resolve later, yeah, but those are important questions, absolutely.
Yeah, and
There
if
are,
anybody thinks of anything else on any of these,
there are a couple of places here, and I went to another one in, where was it? Near East Jordan or something, that sell native
yes.
plants. So there are sources, not just online.
I think we would find our local nurseries, you know, would be glad to help out too.
Right, that's true.
Hoffman's,
And,
yeah.
what's that?
Ollie's.
Extension?
Oh, the Michigan State Extension?
Yeah, they usually have. nearby. Who, or not the Michigan State
Oh,
Extension.
no.
They're right here.
Hmm?
Every year, spring, they send out notices to go get your. order your mail.
Yes.
What are they? I forget the name.
Oh, the cooperative.
I don't know if I've tuned into that.
I know
You
what
get
you're
your little
talking about.
pine trees, little ones like this.
Yeah, I don't remember what government.
Lucas always sends me the email because he always gets some for his property. Elston. So-
You have to keep your eye out for this year.
There's also, I don't know if they'd be interested, I don't want to speak to them. There is a small organization called Wild Ones.
They mentioned that.
And when, you know, there's a native, and there's also a national organization, but there's a local group too that meets periodically and talks about native planting issues
Do you
and
want to look into that?
works on that kind of thing. Sure. Yeah, I had to open my mouth.
Okay, yeah. Implementation also stuff that'll come later down the road. I think this is gonna be, greenwell for getting grants.
Mhm.
How do we want to fit into curriculum? Will it be during school, after school? Community partners. And then, just public relations and marketing kind of stuff. Could be kind of fun to have like a kickoff event. And a wrap up event.
I have a question. Do we have a time frame for this or not yet?
I think we have to wait to hear back from Brad probably,
Yeah,
right?
let's
Okay.
wait to hear back from the school and see if it's something, they have a location for it. They are, absolutely 100% gonna do.
Because I know there's a certain time of year when they're dormant. Is that when they get planted?
In plan.
Okay, planting time. I did read that. So, but you have to get rid of the grass and whatever else is there first, and that takes several months.
Well, if you want it, so there's a few ways to do that. Scrape it up is really quick, or, I don't think we would spray it. That's just not very environmental.
I
Another way
read
you
about
could
laying
do it,
down cardboard,
Cardboard and
Yeah.
newspaper, we could do that.
but that takes some time.
Suffocate it, yeah.
So we can't decide, okay, we're ready to go and then plant the trees. It's not that easy.
Well, unless somebody
It's-
came and scraped it.
Yeah.
I would say, do you think this year should be more about the planning?
Yes,
and that this-
absolutely.
This
yeah. I
might
don't
be
think
a
it's something we'll
fall,
get done.
maybe a fall project.
Maybe a fall, we
Might
might start
yeah.
varying.
Yeah, it might start in the fall, but I think planning is good. We want to make sure we do this right. So
Mhm.
it'll take some planning. So I would imagine spring of next year would be,
Yeah,
when you see it.
yeah, one of those two. So we can do our research and get our contacts and all that. All right, next steps. Great. I think all this is on hold until we speak
Yes,
to Brad.
But this is a good template, this whole presentation you put together, Dana, for
Yeah, that's great.
to reference back to every step along the way here.
I think it'd be very fun to document it too, and I don't know if Value would want to put together like a short video about the project or something at some point. I don't know.
We'll see.
Let's think about it.
Pictures, at least some sort of storyboard or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have the locations here, yeah.
Yep, and then I just have pictures of the two school campuses, and we talked for a minute about G Jardine, but I think maybe do we?
There's also,
say-
I would say there's the school campuses, but there's also some of the land that they have that's not near the schools themselves.
That the school owns?
Yeah, yeah.
Where's
I mean, we're
Probably.
thinking. Well, it's not in the city limits, is it though? They have,
Sorry, what did
I
you
think they
say?
have some land, yeah, they have some land outside the city limits.
I think this would be nice, like for people to go out and work during.
I know, I agree. I was just trying to think of other,
Yeah.
it looks like Blackbird Elementary School is pretty already has its forest.
So is that forest, that area there that's kind of between Lake and the front of Blackbird? Is that school property?
Yes,
Yeah.
It is, okay.
this is all school property. This is right here.
Mhm.
This is right here. The tennis courts has some land back there too.
I think it'd be nice to do it in kind of a prominent place, like maybe behind where Shea is being built.
And then the Harbor Springs High School.
Maybe, yeah, one thing I was thinking about, I'm glad you brought this up, Victor, is, one of our, areas where we need street trees is along Pine Street there. And we could, there's a little like, kind of oak open forest sort of on Spring Street there on the west side.
Hmm.
We could just continue that around the corner.
I'm confused, but that's okay. We'll worry about that later.
Do you see where the school is there?
I see the school, but I'm not sure what direction is what.
So this is
North
Pine
is
Street
south.
right here.
Okay, that's Pine Street. Got it, got it. Okay, I know. So are you talking about the Spring and Pine Corner kind of? thing?
Yeah, just
Okay.
continuing along Pine Street.
Got
And
it.
then that would kind of be a twofer, with our street trees and with this project. I don't know, think about.
Pretty sure that's where like the marching band practices, and it's
Yeah.
also being turned into a parking lot.
Yeah,
And with the new bond, the like location right by the parking lot, the smaller strip of grass is where like, I think a new band room is being built, so there's
Okay,
not much room at the high school.
that's good to know.
yeah. And that's what I've got so far. Yeah, so we could put this on for May,
Yep.
assuming that we get some information by then.
Yeah, let's see if we can do a little more research on it, and maybe think about it some more, and then I can get some information back from Brad and the school and Talia can,
Would it be helpful to send this to Brad?
yeah.
So is the urban and community grant program
Oh.
part of this presentation?
Well, no, yes, it is. So Rachel had gone to a parks conference and she went to a tree talk, and they said, the DNR says they have so much funding available that people just don't apply for their tree grants, and that pocket forests are definitely something that they would be interested in. So these are just 3 different potential grant opportunities when we get to that point, to fund this project.
And it looks like they were available different times
Yeah, they are, yeah.
of
So,
year, so,
so
yeah.
timing is gonna be important, of course, when we do this, but yes,
Could we possibly qualify for the second one?
urban and community forestry and
In
inflation.
that under-resourced Michigan community, disadvantaged communities?
I think we should just X
Is
that
there
one
any
off.
way we could possibly sell that to anyone? I don't think so.
So probably the first. It depends on how they view their list, and the reason I say that is because sometimes they go by county,
Mhm,
and most of our county is.
mhm.
So if they go by city, then, or town, municipality by municipality, then no, but if they're going by county, then maybe.
Mm.
No, but I know, but
Yeah.
it's what we do to get money,
That's true, that's true.
because we have the lowest tax rate.
Yeah, even though it's
You're looking at
true,
the school district.
yeah, it's just not obvious to
Yes,
people.
yep.
And maybe that should be left for.
The ones that we have
More
gotten before was a
obvious.
DTE Energy Foundation tree. We've
Mhm.
gotten a grant from them before.
Yeah.
So, and the community forest grant program seems like it could work too, because it can range from $5,000 to $50,000. Which is substantial,
Mhm.
so.
So is the DTE really?
They've worked with relief, yes. It's not always relief, but sorry,
It
yes.
seems like relief would like this.
Yes, relief, this is something definitely relief would be into as well.
And that's another source in
Yeah.
addition to the.
Well, relief, yeah, they have multiple sources of funding, and one of them is a DTE Energy Foundation grant, but they also have other funding mechanisms, so. Yeah, no, those are just so we know our funding options. But Teresa, do you have any comments or thoughts other than what we went through?
Well, my first comment was already addressed about that second one and
Mhm.
the disadvantaged communities. But I just wanted to make sure I understood that first community forestry grant program, the city would have to match whatever they gave to us.
Yes, it's a 1-to-1.
Okay.
1-to-1 match, whereas the DTE Energy grant is just money. I don't think there's a match required for that one. Yeah.
No, it doesn't appear that there is. It says match is not required for the DTE one.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no match required for DTE, but it's only up to $4,000, whereas you can potentially get up to $50,000 in the first one. So decisions will have to be made.
Thanks for bringing that up, Teresa, because I was wondering the same thing. So does the match could be city money, it could be
Could
donated
be
money.
donated money, yep.
Okay,
As-
thanks.
Yep.
Good point. Okay, should we move on to tree board update to council?
Yes,
Victor, you said you're looking at April 15th?
April 15th, yep. Is that okay?
Yeah, and I think at our last meeting, had we discussed, maybe we kind of focused on the tree plan? Yep. Okay. With maybe stick an introductory slide in there about other things that we did during the year, Arbor Day. They have that we continue to write the tree canopy. Oh, this may be a good time to talk about this. So Teresa, Gail didn't really get a good start on that article about pocket forests for the tree canopy. It was supposed to be this month. So we were discussing who might want to write it.
I can do it.
Yeah.
When do you want it done?
When can you do it? Yeah, we're a little behind schedule. I don't think there's any huge problem with that. But
Yeah, no, this is not anything that's urgent deadline. So whenever you as staff, I'm sorry, as volunteers have time to do it, that's.
yeah, let me know if you want to bounce ideas. I'm happy to help too.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, I can take that on.
Now, this is for the paper.
Yes.
Does it have a space saved for us? Any particular
Kind of.
interval?
It's
When we
sort of-
submit it, they put it in a specific pace, but they will make room for it when we submit it.
Oh, they will, okay,
Yes.
because, you know.
It's not a
that-
dedicated spot, like
Yeah.
every month it has to be there.
That's what I wondered, because it does take up a bit of
It
space.
does, yeah.
And then we alternate months with Parks Board.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So April 15th, I think the presentation, Dana, could also, like you said, include most of the street tree plan, past accomplishes, and then talk about some of these other things we're working on this year.
yes,
Future
absolutely.
tasks. One
Yep.
slide of each, and that's it. It's pretty
Yep, and
straightforward.
then make our request for the first 12 trees to
Yep.
retreat tree program.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else anybody would like to see covered? Oh, I was gonna, I'd like to start with presentations with what is our vision. So this is what was in last year. Do we want to take a look at it and see if we want to update it? See if we feel differently? So our vision to build and sustain a healthy, safe, and attractive park and street tree population. Embracing this, or enhancing the city's environmental and economic benefits that come with the diverse urban forest. 2, gain recognition that trees are an important part of the city's infrastructure. 3, provide opportunities for education and community involvement. 4, help foster a sense of stewardship of the city's trees. And 5, add to the city's tree inventory with an eye towards diversity and long-term health of our trees.
I have no problem with that. I just want to make sure that whenever we say we're consistent with our tree plan,
I
That's-
believe that's where I.
that's where you got it from. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. But I'll double check.
Um, Yes,
All those things are in there.
not worded exactly the same, but the general gist is there. That's the purpose, and then there's the vision, so. Oh, yeah, I would just look at the introduction of the tree plan, just to, as
Double
long
check.
as, as long as it's aligned with that, I think we should be good.
Okay, and then I think where we looked at, is we're gonna start on Lake Street, right? The street trees. That we
think so.
agree to.
I think so.
Go back to this map. This is.
Lucas had, sent a little report about Ann Street, Spring Street, Pine Street, and Lake Street.
Yes. That's correct. So. Let's make Lake Street our first.
No, it's
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, you have to go. Yep, absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good break.
You too.
Okay, we're all in agreement then? Lake Street, that sound good? Okay. Let's see.
All right.
Victor, do you want to talk about Harbor Park tree report?
Yeah, just very quick, we don't need to make any decision necessarily today.
I'm with you now.
You're with, okay. Sorry, Teresa, let me just get the share screen back. Okay, so Harborview Park borders our pickleball courts. This is from Hoyt Street looking east through the trees. They're gone now, this row of trees right here where you see this tall coniferous tree. There was a row of conifers there and they have been removed. So the one goal is to just replace that tree, which can be done anytime probably because this is part of a row of trees. And, one of the questions is, Lucas had talked about, and maybe the Parks Board too, is, do we want a similar tree there? What kind of tree do we want there? And there's no power lines there. So those can grow taller. So that's one question is, deciding on what kind of tree we want to see there. And the second is something to think about in the future is that these trees aren't doing great right here. There's some needle casts, according to Lucas, there's some that are just leaning the wrong direction. And so idea is to remove these trees and then to replace them with smaller trees, better looking trees or vegetation. I don't know, you probably talked more about it at the parks, Dana?
Yeah, yep. So we do have somewhat of a long range plan for the park. One is to, we'll open the views up, which we did. We took out, there was a clump of a variety of things in the middle that came out, and apparently it's a little bit of a problem for some people.
The lilac bushes.
Lilac bushes, yep. And so then that was to open the views up a little bit better. And then to have like just a meandering walking path with a little sitting area looking out over the bluff. You see in the summer, people from Bay Bluffs come over there with their walkers or wheelchairs all the time, so it'd be a nice spot. And then this is something that we want to check out in a survey to see community interest in it, but maybe having a picnic pavilion there for like little league games and could be rented out for birthday parties or whatever. Nothing fancy or ornate or anything, just a simple picnic pavilion and then maybe some gardens and site furniture, picnic tables, that kind of thing. So our thought is that we're going to get started on some ideas on that in the next couple of months. We probably don't want to get ahead of ourselves with putting trees in when we don't know exactly where everything's going to go.
Good thinking.
I think though, it's a good idea to start thinking about what kind of screening trees you might want to see if these trees and when these trees are removed.
Yes.
You see how these trees are just,
Because that line of trees is west of the new skate park,
it's west of it's right on the border with the pickleball court fence.
but it's also the skate park is also on
Yeah, the
that.
skate park is after the pickleball court, yes.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
that side. So this stuff that's sitting here is really the
Oh,
junk
yeah.
that's going to be
Removed
removed.
by April something.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, these are,
Okay.
the old skate park ramps are just stored there right now. This is a recent picture I just took last week. so.
Okay, so,
So what you're really looking at is, this is the older picture, you're really looking at, there's some trees back there, you can barely see them, but in the distance right here, those border those are these trees right
Right.
here.
okay.
So the question is, do you want it screened or do you want it open?
Well, that's what we're gonna look at. Do we want a solid line of trees or is it nice to have some peeks through to see what's happening?
No, and I know this is, gonna be a Parks Board entry board looking at together, but one of the ideas of obviously having some screening there is the fence, you wanna maybe break up a little bit of the fence, and also one of the neighbors, the reason she's actually wants to plant 2 trees in the right of way on Hoyt Street is because now that the trees have been removed there and she wants to have her view a little bit blocked of the skate park and the pickleball courts. Not because she doesn't like it per se, but she was just used to that, having it blocked, so. Something to think about there. These obviously didn't really screen anything anymore because they're so tall and skinny and half of the needle,
Yeah, they're sparse.
they're really not. I mean, aside from maybe this tree right here, I don't know if this one's, but like these ones And this one is like, these two are like practically half of them are gone, and same thing with this one, so they're just not good trees for anything,
Do you know
really.
what kind of trees they are?
I think they might be, red pine.
Red pines, yeah, they're definitely pines, just don't know what kind of pines. Lucas would know, or Ben, or Dan, if you went up there, you might.
If I ran.
You probably would. You could tell.
Well, we want to know what to avoid.
Yeah.
Well, they, you know,
Right
we
tree, right
definitely got
place.
our money's worth. That's what I say. You only have to take it out. So more to come on that. Anything else on that for right now?
Well, on this location, and if this is Parks Board, then just that I'm out of order.
Yeah.
What about are we doing some kind of a tree or fence between the skate park and the highway?
Yeah, there's gonna be
Yeah.
landscaping, the landscaping is coming. there.
Okay,
There'll
okay,
be vegetation and yes,
fine, because I thought we needed some sort of a barrier,
yeah, but we're gonna put a barrier in, I know Kathy had mentioned a temporary one. too.
skateboarders block, okay,
That
got
should be
it.
happening this.
They're starting, well, I think in any minute, they're starting down at the beach, getting ready for the playground. So there's a snow fence down there that's black that looks a little nicer. That's gonna go up temporarily.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank.
I worry about that every day,
You know,
just.
But then when that temporary one's removed, they're gonna actually have vegetation. It's gonna block.
Got it,
That's great.
That
and
vegetated fence.
maybe.
That's up to the Parks Board there, but
okay.
that's,
okay,
there will be.
So just something temporary.
And we also have to finish planting trees. Remember up 119, we have a few
Yep, that
trees
project, yep.
that we stopped at Bay Bluffs, the end of
Yeah.
Bay Bluffs, and then we said we were gonna finish planting.
Is that tree board or is that parks?
It was tree board, because it was in the right of way.
Right.
But we didn't plant those yet because we wanted the skate park project to finish, so that's something we have to, and we might have some leftover trees we could use the leftover trees in our donated tree fund for that one, so. I think,
Or was that actually a budget item that's already budgeted for us? We don't have to use our trees for that.
I don't
That
remember,
could be nice.
I'd have to look back. But we need to use those trees, though, the people donate those trees, we have to use them, we can't let them hang out.
Yeah,
All right. Let's see if I had anything else. Just briefly, when we talk about Arbor Day in May, we had talked about maybe doing it, at Zorn Park on Saturday, kind of at the same time as Farmers Market, so maybe we get a better turnout. And that's not a place that's full of trees, nor would I think we would want to put a whole bunch more trees in there.
oh,
And I had a note from some meeting about where we talked about maybe doing a community barbecue. And we could have speakers, you know, about trees and that kind of thing.
oh, I kinda
It
like
doesn't
that.
have to be like a traditional plant trees kind of thing. It could be about trees.
That is kind of how I saw it when I suggested having it at that location.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we can start to think about, you know, speakers that would be fun and engaging and interesting and I don't know, I was thinking this morning about maybe we do like a campaign. These are the things I think about at 2 a.m. is all of the trees in the city are about the same age. And they're getting up there and many are in decline. Like not just city trees, but to protect the urban forest. What if we got enough trees to have one for every resident in the city? And that would be part of, you know, the discussion.
What do you mean, get one tree for every resident?
Like a seedling.
Oh, a seedling.
I'm start thinking about, like, if everybody planted one tree on their property,
Mhm.
and we could get, maybe this year, instead of all the same species, we could, you know, get 5 different species.
I mean,
There you go.
I don't think that's a bad idea. Any other time there've been like free things I get, free trees, it's like, it looks, and maybe I haven't studied it, but I always feel like it's some big, tall thing, which I don't need in my yard and want in my yard. I got plenty of big trees.
So if you have some
So-
choices like crab apples, or maybe
Right,
some
or-
people do want, you know, maples or whatever.
For I want to do my pocket forest.
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know.
Yes, we could talk more about,
Yeah.
more about that in May.
So what would kind of cost would that involve?
It's not that much, isn't it? A couple $100 just for the seedlings?
Depends on what size you're getting, right?
Yeah.
And if they're gonna be, we have to bag them ourselves, depends, you know, there's a lot, and how many were we getting? So the small pine ones were, they're not expensive, but they are really small.
Mhm.
Yes. And then, but then it's, different species cost different. You know, and Ben has always shopped around, you know, there's place in, was it Minnesota or Wisconsin he looked at, and there's different places you can look for the best deal. But it depends on, not all the places grow the same trees, right? So you gotta go, if you want like 5 different species, you're not necessarily gonna get them from the same,
Oh, right.
so you have to shop around. But it's not gonna be, it wouldn't be terribly expensive, but you're talking about one per resident, are we talking about year-round resident? We're talking about- What are we talking about?
Where to
One
figure
per
out, but
property?
just as
Yeah.
a way to kind of start getting ready for when the big trees die.
Well, is there a grant program that might even help pay for it if it turned out to be
Mhm.
more than a small amount?
It could be a DT, that one could be a DTE thing. $4,000 would cover a lot of saplings.
Yeah,
Could we look into that? It'd be nice if, you know, this is dreaming probably, but, you know, to be able to get a little bit bigger trees, not like the little whips.
mhm.
I think it would mean more to people to put something like that in their yard instead of something that's 1 foot tall.
And we can talk about that, yeah, May,
Yeah.
but I'll look
sounds
into it,
good.
I'll look into it.
So May, we'll talk about, more Arbor Day ideas, we'll talk about, let's see.
That's gonna be
Pocket Forest.
May 17th. Yep, we have Pocket Forest, Arbor Day Fest. And then I think I have to bring one thing in for the priorities, so.
And then how are we involved in street trees then? If we get those 12 trees, we tell them what we want and they'll figure out
Yeah, we'll
where to
figure-
put them in and then
Yeah.
we're sort of out of it at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, the staff will
Yeah,
decide where they're gonna
yeah,
go,
yeah.
because they're gonna put them in a place where they can maintain them properly.
Right.
Well, they're
Right?
gonna go, on the streetscape along Lake.
Yeah,
Okay, great. I'm excited. Let's
Yeah.
see some trees.
Yeah.
I think those 3 things though, Pocket Forest and Arbor Fest. And I don't know if you'll have a canopy article by then, but I really think those 2 things are a lot, the Pocket Forest and Arbor Fest. And then I have to bring one of those policy things to you guys, and so it's part of the priority plan. So. I would
Good,
recommend.
and then, yeah, hopefully we hear from Brad.
Yeah, we will. I'm sure we will. After spring break, I'm sure everyone will get back into the swing of things.
All right, does anybody have anything else they'd like to talk about today?
Are you good, Teresa?
I'm good.
All right.
Keep forgetting about you.
Yeah.
Cool.
All righty,
Thanks,
we
everyone.
miss you. We'll see you, soon.
All right. And I'll have
Bye-bye.
that article done within 2 weeks.
Okay,
Perfect.
sounds good.
And
Thanks.
so if our next meeting is in May, you'll be at that meeting?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay,
Great,
great.
cool. All right, guys.
Thanks.